you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. This week, our spotlight is a very special guest. She's a cross-country runner from St. Francis University. She is a two-time NEC Athlete of the Week for women's cross-country. In both races she's entered this year, she has finished first, something that we have not seen in the past few years from any women's cross-country runner. So this is Kylie Jackson. Kylie, we're so excited for you to be talking with us today. Thank you. Hopefully we didn't pull you away from class.
No, I'm good. I don't have class till 1 today. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I guess one thing I wanted to really talk about is you mentioned before when we were talking that you weren't really the greatest, high school runner, and we've really seen you shave a lot of time off of your 5K time since your freshman year. What has really been the difference in your training, and how have you molded yourself into this fine athlete that you are now?
I think a lot of it has just been like being consistent throughout the years. Like I'm definitely like a higher mileage runner, not a lot of intensity, but like I can get the mileage in, and like I don't really get hurt that much. I've been lucky, really fortunate to not be injured throughout college, so that's been a big part of it, just like consistent training throughout the years and putting in the work and putting in the time.
Now you are at St. Francis U, and you guys, I guess I would describe you as the dark horse. You guys are the ones that are working so hard, and you guys haven't won a championship in 2004. How are you approaching this season to try and get to the top of the podium this year?
Well, when the preseason rankings came out for the conference, we were ranked 6th, which I thought was a little bit low for us. So it's kind of like, okay, well now we got a lot to prove to everyone. But we have a lot of good freshmen, and we actually doubled our team size this year. We were down. We had only like 8 people last year, and now we have 15. So we've really grown a lot, and just trying to build on that. The freshmen are doing a great job. A lot of the upperclassmen have started to step up. So it's we're in a unique situation because I don't think anyone really expects like too much of us, but I think we have a lot more going for us than most people would think, and just putting in the work and working together and building on what we have here. It's a really hilly, rural area. We had the conference championship meet here last year. I think a lot of people saw that. Like, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. So it's like a really, really good place to train. I love running here. We just get out on the roads and on the hills and get in the mileage, and it seems to work really well for us.
So you mentioned last year the cross-country championships were on your home course, and you finished 6th. And then you just had the Father Bede Invitational, which was also in St. Francis U on the same course, where you finished in 19:05, which if you ran that time last year would have placed you 3rd. Kind of talk to us about the difference in courses in that you guys have to run throughout the season. Like you said, St. Francis U is really hilly, and last year's course was so tough and so hilly. So when you go to a different race where, we saw some 5K times last weekend that were more in the low 17s compared to your 19 minutes, how that doesn't really kind of express the type of race that you had.
Yeah, it's really hard to compare. Like, our course is definitely, I'd say, like, it's over a minute slow for sure, probably a minute and a half. But so you can't really compare the two, but I'm really happy I never have to race on that course again. Like, I was so happy when I crossed the line last week. I'm like, I'm done. It's probably one of the hardest courses I've ever ran on. But yeah, it's super hard to compare them, but I've gotten a lot better at running on hills. Like, my freshman year I came in here, I don't think I could ever even finish a hill workout. So last year when I heard that we were gonna host a conference meet, pretty sure I almost broke down on the spot. I'm like, I can't. Awful. Like in high school, everyone knew Kylie can't do hills. I don't know. I got through it, and I've improved on them a ton. But I'd still say I like the flatter courses better. I can do the hills, but I'd prefer flat, Lehigh type course a lot better.
So let's talk a little bit about the upcoming championship. This year it will be in New Britain on the campus of Central Connecticut. And in 2 weeks, on September 27th, you guys get a chance to run it at the Ted Owen Invitational, kind of like a preview race. Most of the conference schools will be there. So just kind of talk to us about what that course is like and how your history on that in that race the past few years.
I've actually never been to the Central Connecticut course. I think they hosted conference the year before I got here. So I've heard about it from some of my older teammates, and they say it's it's a good course, a fair course, but nothing like the course we have here. But I think it should play to my strengths then, because there's some hills, but then, like, I don't know, not completely terrible like our course. I'm looking forward to going there in a couple weeks just to see like where I'm at in the conference, and I've won the past 2 meets, so it'll be nice to like have like a lot of competition there with me to push me, because I feel like I haven't really had that yet, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, like the focus is still on the championship meet, so I don't want to put too much stake on this meet coming up here. Like, I just want to use it as a stepping stone to get to where I need to be at the beginning of November.
So you've talked a lot about, you know, how much the hills have affected you and how you were so upset that you guys had to host last year. I'm not so upset, but that you were hosting last year. So what kind of mental preparation do you have to go through before every race, just kind of knowing that you're going to be pushing your body to the extreme and you're going to have to face all these different kinds of landscapes? So just kind of talk to us a little bit about your mental preparation. Does your coach, Doug Hoover, have any kind of input in anything? Just kind of take us through a pre-race setup.
I tend to get pretty nervous before races. I think I've gotten a lot better at it, just staying calm. Like last week, for example, like it was a kind of smaller meet, and I don't think I got that nervous for it, but like come the conference meet or the regional meet, like my nerves definitely get to me a lot. But I think it plays to my advantage because like the adrenaline kicks in and everything. But I try to listen to music before I race and just like stay calm. I like to like get away from the team for a little bit and like do my own thing and just calm down, and like I pray before I race every time, so that helps me like get in the right mindset. And I think a lot of it just like knowing that I put in the training and the miles, and like that's all I can do at that point. I just got to get out there and give it my all. Like I can't worry about what I'm going to be able to do. Just know that the training's there and trust in it. Go for it.
Now, you talked about the training, and you mentioned earlier before we started our hangout that you had trained in some pretty awesome places, especially California. So tell me a little bit about your time out in California.
So the past 3 summers, for a couple weeks, I've been going out to something called the Altitude Project in California, and it's a Christian collegiate distance running camp. So I go out there, and it's pretty much just 2 weeks straight of running like at altitude, which is like the best training I've ever had, and it's the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. I love it so much. And like so just running and like growing my faith in God with a group of great people. Like some of them have been there for 3 years with me, so I've become really good friends with like runners from across the country. So I think that's been a really big part of like my success and my improvement in college, just going out there and getting that type of training in, and like kind of changing my perspective on running and everything. It's been amazing. Like I can't even describe what kind of experience it's been for me. And I've got the past 2 years when I went out there, Olympian and American record holder Ryan Hall's been there with us, so I've got to spend a lot of time with him and his wife Sarah Hall, who's also a phenomenal runner. So like getting to see what they're doing and get to talk to them has been like an incredible experience.
So you were out on the West Coast, and you said you have friends from all across the country. So that kind of segues into, what are you doing next year? Are you going to be staying in rural Pennsylvania? Will you be going to the West Coast? Kind of talk to us about what your plans are for next year.
Well, I'm a political science major and an economics minor, so I want to work in politics in some capacity. I've done internships in like Washington, D.C. and all kinds of cool places for it. But going to be applying to grad schools here. Going to take the GRE right after the season's over. So like a lot of stress with that going on right now too. But I'm going to apply to Pitt and probably University of Texas. I don't know if I'll go that far, but I'm keeping it there in the back of my mind. So I guess we'll see how it all like works out. I want to keep running though, so like I guess that's going to play into it too.
Now, when you say you want to keep running, what does that mean? Training professionally, or do you still have another year of eligibility?
As it is right now, I haven't redshirted at all, so I'll probably be done with that. But I'd like to maybe, wherever I go, try to get on as like a GA or an assistant coach. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or just like find a training group wherever I go, just to keep myself going and keep myself motivated, because I do think I still have a lot of room to improve. And I mean, because I've just started, I think, to really come in like as a runner in the past couple of years. Like I don't want to just like stop after college.
Now, you mentioned that you did a really cool internship in Washington, D.C. Kind of talk to us about what exactly you did and how being in D.C. is a lot different than being in Loretto.
Yeah, it's completely different. I worked on Capitol Hill for a congressman, so I lived down there for a couple months, and I stayed on the Catholic University campus, so I rode the metro in every day, and I worked like 10 hours a day, which I'm not used to. It was very tiring. Really cool experience. Like, you just like walk past like senators and congressmen every day, like, oh hey, what's up? But it was definitely like a different type of atmosphere than here. Like, I'm used to like here you see people, you see like the farmer down the road, he's like, oh hey, like he waves to you when you run. Like there, it was just like I'm running past like all the monuments like by myself, not knowing anyone. No one waves to you. Like, it's just, I was completely out of my element there, but it was a really good experience, I think.
So you're a Pittsburgh girl. I was looking at, St. Francis U's athletic website and creeping on your roster a little bit, and you are definitely a Pittsburgh girl. You are a Primanti's person, which I love. I love Primanti's brothers, and of course a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I won't weigh in on that, but so kind of talk to us about what growing up in Pittsburgh has been like. And you mentioned that your parents do get to come to some races, so kind of being a hometown girl, you aren't too far from Pittsburgh, so talk to us about your life in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I'm less than an hour and a half from home here, which is good. It's like far enough that I'm like away for school, but like close enough that I can go home if I want to on the weekends once in a while. But I actually grew up like 35-40 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, and like it's rural, but nothing like Loretto, like kind of in the middle. So yeah, Western PA has really good high school running, so like that was a good atmosphere to like have in high school there to get me ready for college. Like the Whippy's really competitive, so like I got to run against some like really good runners there, and I went to a pretty decently sized high school, like 320 people I think in my graduating class, and came from like a pretty good program there, so that definitely helped me in the adjustment to college. Like I had a good background coming from there.
So my last question for you, and I guess I've started to kind of end all my hangouts with this, is if you could use one word only, to describe, your teammates and your team on St. Francis U Cross Country, what would it be?
I guess kind of like eccentric, because like we're just kind of, we have a lot of different personalities going on, and like a lot of personality in general. Like there's never really a dull moment, like someone's saying something ridiculous or doing something ridiculous, and like I just love it. Like we have so much fun together, and like no matter what we're doing, even when we're getting up at like 6 a.m. on a weekend to do a long run, like we still have fun with it, and it keeps it interesting all the time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kylie, on today's Google Spotlight. It's been so much fun to talk to you, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to talk with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Good luck the rest of the season. And I'm Erin Bean with the Northeast Conference, and this has been another weekly Google Spotlight sponsored by Geico. Again, 15 minutes or more could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Thank you.